We have already established a quorum and are in open session, so we're going to begin the open session meeting. So at this time, could I have a motion for approval of the agenda, please? Second. All in favor? Thank you. I need a motion for approval of the consent agenda items. All in favor? Okay, communications. We have,
There's no education communications this month.
thank you. Okay, next up is our monthly finance report.
Hi guys. Well, this evening I would like to report that the Finance Department has completed the ESSER data collection and submitted it to the state last month. The data collection includes previous expenditures under these grants as well as current plans for spending the remaining amount of the grant funds. The 2022 bond update, as of the end of April, we have spent $3,302,434.67 on completed and paid invoices. This leaves us with a current balance of $3,931,133.78. We currently do have approved purchases that have not been paid in the amount of $263,678.14. The senior account refunds will be issued between the May and June board meetings. The list of all checks cut will be included in the June board meeting packet. In your board packet this month is the fund balance report. Currently, this year's revenues are more than last year. The increase in revenues would be from the increase in assessed valuation, Prop C, delinquent tax payments, as well as the increase in transportation revenues. Our expenses are also higher than last year, but this is the year we have known that the difference is from the increasing of salaries and the new bond improvement costs. That's it.
Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What's your question?
They don't know the question, they don't.
Well, perfect at this point. Let's go ahead and start with our academic focus.
Well, this month, obviously, it's McQuarrie. I have the pleasure of bringing this group here today. I'm going to introduce the two teachers and let them introduce the kiddos, though. And what they're going to show you a little bit today is some of their letters training, the language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, right? Yeah. That they've gone through this year, these two ladies, along with two other teachers at McQuarrie. You're going to hear a lot about letters probably coming up in the next year. I know the staff at McQuarrie and Upper both, we've got a lot of teachers that are going to go through the training. It's one of those that is the state approved training for the science of reading initiatives that are all about the legislation that has been passed here in the state of Missouri. So this is going to be just some of the activities and some of the things they learned. And so I introduced Melissa Everett, one of our star first grade teachers, and one of our star kindergarten teachers, Amy Fagan. I'm going to let you guys go with it from there.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Thank you all for having us. We're excited to show you some of the things that we've been doing. Just to piggyback off of Mr. Armstrong, letters training is a 2-year training, and Melissa and I, as well as a couple other teachers, just completed the first year, so next year we'll be in the second year of training. So with us tonight, I brought some of my kindergarten friends. My friends, when I say your name, will you just wave for me? We have Brooks Hopmer, we have Brock Shippey, Nolan Smith, Avery Ziegler, and Olin Barker.
And with me tonight, I brought Johanna Kuhlman, Maya Saxon, Helen Morgan, and Brent Gossett.
And we're going to start out with some phonemic awareness. So phonemic awareness, if you're not familiar with that term, it's all hearing sounds and working with sounds. No letters or anything we manipulate, felt pieces and that sort of thing. You'll see some of that tonight with our hands. So we're going to start with some phonemic awareness. And friends, if you'll just kind of turn and face me. All right, ready? Remember our thumbs lining? both together. Ready?
That, chat, they both have at.
Good job. Do they rhyme?
Yes.
Yes. Good job. How about say short? That. You say it.
Short, that. They both have nothing.
They don't rhyme, do they? Good job. How about cheese? These. You say it.
Cheese, these. They both have ease.
Good job. Awesome. You're super smart. You're going to see that tonight. All these words are super smart. All right, now we're going to do some blending, okay? I'm going to say the phoneme. You tell me the word. Are you ready? Here we go. Sh.
Swish.
Good job. How about this one?
Slither.
Good job. Last one, ready?
Sunshine.
Good job. Say sunshine.
Sunshine.
Say sunshine, but don't say sun.
Shine.
Say beach ball.
Beach ball.
Say beach ball, but don't say ball.
Beach.
Say umbrella.
Umbrella.
Say umbrella, but don't say
Umbrella.
Say May.
May.
Say May, but don't say
A. May.
Good. Yes, very good. Let's continue with segmenting. So this time I'm going to say the word and you're going to tap it out. Don't forget to blend it at the end. Are you ready? Shadow.
Shadow. O. Shadow.
Nice. Shapes.
Shapes. Shapes.
Chicken.
Chicken. Chicken.
And crunch.
Crunch. Crunch.
All right, now this time we're going to substitute. So we're going to put our hands up like this. We're going to say a word and then we're going to change part of it. So can you say the word brag?
Brag.
Change "bur" to "dur."
Drag.
Nice job. Say the word flag.
Flag.
Change "full" to "sh."
Shag.
Nice. Chap.
Chap.
Change "ch" to "cold."
Clap.
And one more. Snap.
Snap.
Change "sn" to "terp."
Trap.
Good job. Last one. So we're going to do some adding of the phonemes. So we're going to put our hands like this. We're going to say air.
Air.
Add ch.
Chair.
Good job. Say eek.
Eek.
Add ch.
Cheek.
Good job. Apes.
Apes.
Add sh.
Shapes.
And arc.
Arc.
Add sh.
Shark.
Nice job. Good job. Very good. All right. The next game that we're going to show you, or activity, my friend Brooks over here, he coined the term the noggin game because we hold it up on our noggin. So the way we started this was with letters or digraphs, and they would have to tell us the sound, and then we would guess what letter it was. And now we're going to show you that same activity, but we're going to do words. Are you ready? You ready, friends? And don't tell her what the word is. Though. You're going to tap it out, but don't blend it. Okay? Ready? Let's see if I can guess it. Ready?
Ought.
Got.
Yes.
Map.
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Late.
Yes.
I have a question. How come you said a instead of a?
Is a mommy?
Oh, and why did you say a instead of a?
Because there's a mommy.
There's a mommy e, and what does the mommy e do?
Make the vowel say its name.
Makes the vowel say its name. Good job. That's our noggin game. Okay, and our last game that we're going to play is carpet circles, and this is a time where they can build words with beginning, middle, and ending sounds. And those that are building get to do the moving, and those that are not building will do the writing. So
let's review before we start the letter sounds, okay? So can you guys tell me what sound this makes? Or this sound? This sound?
Good orange.
All right, and your vowels?
Or U.
Good job.
Or A.
Good job.
Or E. Or I. Or O.
Good job. And our ending sounds? Or ooh. What do we know about that one?
Yeah, it's voiced.
It can be voiced. What else can it be?
It could be unvoiced.
How do we know which one is which?
We could feel it.
Let's try that. Everybody put your hand on your throat and make the voiced. And now make the unvoiced. Good job. What sound? What sound? And all right, so, oh, did I miss one? Oh, I did, right here. Brooks, can you scoot back a little bit? What sound is this one? Good job. Okay, so we're gonna pass out your writing boards. Can we get one? You're welcome. All right, Maya, would you like to start us off and build us a word? Okay, now listen. Before we read the word, we're gonna tap it on our boards, and then we're gonna blend it. Are you ready? Tap it on your boards. Nice, good job. Ready? Brock, can you pick a word? Is that the word you want? Okay. Okay, get ready to tap it out. Here we go.
Stop.
Nice. All right, Kellen, would you like to go? All right, tap it out.
Chin.
Good job, everybody. Say the sounds now. Just keep trying. It's okay. Which one did you want? There you go. What's the sound? What's the last sound? What's the last sound? Good job. Good job. All right, tap it out. Good job. Nice job. Friends. So these are just a few of the activities that we do for phonemic awareness and phonics. Letters has really opened our eyes to some of these activities, and we just love the fun that it brings to our classrooms. So thank you all for having us.
Kindergarten and first, or 2 years for regular.
We just completed volume 1, which has 4 units.
Some of that stuff you were doing, I don't think I can do.
We learned a lot. Yeah. Would you guys go ahead and pick up the circles?
Yes.
We work letters up through the grades so that you're doing similar work in second and
Do you
third.
have some kindergarten
That's the hope, yeah, that's the hope.
Like that.
Yeah, it's thinking out there, see what that looks like.
So are you guys going to be
You would like that.
Oh, just, that's good. Same problem. Thanks, everybody, for coming. It was awesome.
Yes, thank you. Sure. You guys did great. I'm proud of you.
Me too. Let me grab my book. Oh, thank you.
Miss Megan said she had.
I left him with
He's a chip off the block, Mr. Hopper. How are you?
Okay, next up, we have our superintendent's reports.
Yeah, the building reports are in the packet for your review. Just a few things. We had graduation last Friday night, had a good night, even though we didn't get to have it on Thursday, but it was still good. Last day of school is this week. It's a half day, and Excel got things started, and Pat's here to talk about that. They got demo started yesterday on the high school office, so we got that project off and running. That's it.
Alrighty. Next up is our discussion items, and it's our 2022, 2023 career ladder.
Dr. McLean.
Good evening, everyone. So we're at the end of wrapping up our career ladder for this year. This year, here in Odessa, we had about 100 teachers participate. They completed over 9,000 hours outside of their contract time. They submitted, going back to July, approximately 8,500 individual time cards that had to be approved. All these activities, again, took place outside of contract time. Teacher-approved activities included mentoring beginning teachers, providing before or after school tutoring. Teachers received additional training with Google Classroom or other things that would help them in the classroom or with college coursework. Teachers would work with students through clubs and activities as an extension of their classroom. I do want to take this opportunity to thank the District Professional Development Committee. They were great assistance in working with the teachers to make sure that they knew that their activities had to be aligned to the state standards and was submitting their time cards, all 9,000 of them, needed work. So it was a good experience. Yes, sir.
Dr. McLean, did you have, you said it was 100?
100 teachers, yes, sir.
Were all of them that initially put together a plan?
No,
Follow
sir.
through with it?
Some had the intention of doing it and weren't successful or bowed out.
Okay. Do you have any idea on the number that?
No, answer. I can get back to you if you'd like.
Okay. So I was just trying to see how successful, how appealing it is to our teachers.
There was only a few, I'd say less than 10 that didn't apply. Some of them might have applied for stage 3, but only completed hours for stage 2, those types of things. Most that applied did.
And they're eligible to do this year after year?
As long as the state funding, which it's in the budget for next year.
The governor has to sign it first before we can bring it to the board in July or August.
Are they estimated to be 60-40 again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any other questions for Dr. McClellan?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, next up in discussion items is Ed Council Guide Service on policies.
Yeah, this is the first reading for the EGS policies that are included in your board packet. These would replace the existing policies that the district has with MSBA effective July 1st. They will be presented for a second reading and approval at the regular June board meeting.
And I will say that, I don't know about you guys, but there's 157 pages to read here, and I didn't get through all of them.
I've been through something, not nearly.
If you all see something, email, let's get on it if you see something that we need to work on, change, add to.
Just
Um,
questions.
Questions about, be sure to.
John, was there anything that stuck out?
I've been through it. There's
Discrepancy
some things that this policy platform will put in a handbook, whereas it would be in policy, but those are approved, which also honestly helps align, because if it's in two different places and it doesn't get copied over right when things change. So,
So would that be like in reference to whenever, if there's a policy that sometimes, obviously the board has to stick to policy, but maybe it's something that the board looks at the end of the year and says, oh, we need to change it. We did that with our old policies. I'm assuming that happened, occasionally, maybe not a lot, sometimes maybe more than others. Those instances where, obviously people that were on the board when that was happening, those situations have taken over with this new policy, right? I mean, we try to kind of carry over from the old to the new, right?
we carry over from the old to the new and align as we need to make changes.
How many times have you guys changed policies like this? Is this kind of something that happens from MSBA to EGS, or has it always been MSBA? How long?
Jay, how long have you used MSBA?
Oh gosh, 30 plus years.
Oh, okay, so this is kind of a new practice, okay.
And are these are the district's lawyers kind of reiteration of our current policies, MSBA's?
Yes.
Or his policies that he chooses to, I mean, assuming he's taking MSBA, the nature, everything that's in MSBA is covered in this policy.
Yes, or it will be in the handbook that will be approved on the board, yes.
And is there any, like whenever we have new hires and stuff, is there, assuming there's acknowledgement in contracts and stuff, is that?
There's that, plus Dr. Fagan sends out videos along with a policy checkoff that you have read these policies, and we do that at the beginning of the year.
So anything that's changed, we can point out to our teachers, any changes?
I don't know that we've highlighted specific changes to say. Maybe in instances, but not everything all the time.
Can you just refresh me on why we're transitioning policies from MSBA to EGS?
I think EGS does a better job of streamlining and aligning between handbooks and policies. They review handbooks and work in conjunction with, where MSBA does not. So we're putting those handbooks together. If we were to put something in there that was not current, or something didn't get updated and a policy got changed, then you've got a mixed message coming from board approved items.
Just three quick things. Policy typically is based in statute, so updates will come when laws change. There's two things that I specifically like about EGS. Number one, it's so much easier to get around because you don't have GDCB and GCADB and LMLB. The table of contents is much easier to read. But the other thing, and I think the most important thing that I appreciate about it, is MSBA is not our litigator. Legal Dwayne Martin is our litigator. And these policies are published and provided by that company. And it's so much easier when your policies are updated and written by the person who will represent us in a courtroom and community.
Well, not only that, but if we choose to change a policy, he's gonna be able to directly tell us that that is going to conjunct with other areas within this handbook, so, the policies.
And he's a a guy who's litigated in front of the Missouri Supreme Court on multiple occasions, so he's.
How long has he been our counsel?
We've used him more frequently in the last probably year and a half, but probably the last 2.5 years, would you say, Rod? We've kind of migrated to a counsel services.
We had used him prior to, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, we used him for.
I'm assuming you bid that out or something like that.
It hasn't been bid out, but it's not a regular, you might go several months without needing any
Yeah.
guidance.
My concern would be, obviously, if you wrote it and then you switch to different counsel, or maybe he retires or whatever, then you're like, then you still have this policy that you wrote by something else.
I just have one more question for you.
Sure.
So since we're moving,
Yeah.
to
Well,
who's
obviously,
writing our
it's litigated
policies,
before.
do we plan to remain a member of MSBA since they're not providing our policies?
Yes, because they do provide other services.
Okay, I just wanted to see where our stance was on.
Yeah.
Can you hit on the cost?
Yeah,
Not off the top of my head. For
Thought we had
this,
talked about, yeah, it costs more for him to take a fresh look at all our policies. read
yeah,
them.
so the first year, the policy service was about 13,000, but that was the migration over. Beyond that, I believe it was 2,500 a year for them to continue to maintain policies, which is, I wanna say MSBA was a little bit over 3,000 for the policy service. Every year.
So more upfront, same every year.
sure.
Any other questions? Okay. Next up in discussion is our construction update.
So, I'm Pat Cross with Inside Design Studio. See some new faces, right? I'll introduce myself. I'll start with the summer projects. There's some renovations happening here at the high school, the middle school, and McQuarrie. So as Dr. Oettinger mentioned, they started in the main offices over there. They started with demolition this week. That's an enclosed area. They can get going. Take a look inside the windows. They're moving and grooving. They're going to town, getting the walls down. They have sectioned off this front parking for safety. They have their dumpsters out there. That's where they're taking the material. They've also set up the job trailer just north of McQuarrie. It's just a small trailer. So the schedule, after they get done here at the high school, next week, they're gonna start demolition inside of the middle school. And then the week after that, they'll start demolition inside McQuarrie. So they're kind of jumping from school to school, the crew. And then over the next month, after they get done with the demolition here, there's some work on cutting up the floors for new plumbing, and then they'll start the rough end for plumbing, electrical, HVAC, pour back the new floor. That kind of covers the next month. Maybe they'll get to framing, but they're kind of starting that, getting the bones and the guts in for new projects. And that'll trickle down middle school and McQuarrie as well. There's a lot of site work that's going to start happening at the middle school and the high school as well, but they're going to start, this week they're starting with a little bit of demo on the site at the middle school, just minor trees, shrubs, fences, nothing to really get in the way of operations. And the next week, heavy demolition on the site where we're replacing asphalt and concrete at the middle school, and the high school after that. So that is the forecast for the summer projects, and then the roofing project, that it's almost wrapped up. So last week we had a pre-final walkthrough where it's called a punch list in the construction world. It's where once a project's done, you walk through and you identify things that need either finished, fixed, or repaired or redone. So the crew is working on punch list items for the roofing. All the roofing and flashing is complete. There's a little bit of metal work that the crew is coming back through and finishing up, and some downspouts that they're hanging. So you'll still see people here over the next couple weeks. The plan is that they get taken care of, all the punch list items, get that complete, and then just over 2 weeks from now, we have the final walkthrough punch list. That's where if there's no items in that final walkthrough, that's when the warranty starts, and project's complete. You have a wonderful new roof. Good question.
So on that, on the roofing taking longer, I think, than they originally.
Yeah.
Is that going to cause any problems with the building secure entrance and the contractors?
No.
Okay.
Nope. It's a small amount of people still working on the roof.
Okay.
Really just, the most amount of people are the people that hang the downspouts. There's not a lot of heavy equipment in this building.
We're still on target for having all this completed by
Absolutely.
next
We,
year.
hey, we're ahead of schedule right now. They knocked down the walls in the office, but yes, we are exactly on schedule. It's a tight window. I'm not gonna lie. In April, I wasn't here last month, but Dr. Fagan may have given an update. We had an entire meeting with all the subcontractors, and we went over schedule, safety, and we really said, hey, this is our window. Here's the schedule. If anybody has any issues, raise your hand right now. And everybody, no, we'll get it done. So I will be here every month this summer, giving you an update, and keep everybody on task.
Are you on site every day too?
I'm not on site today, no. I'm the architect. Excel is building the project.
Okay.
Excel Constructors.
Yeah.
So they are on site.
You're not bringing coffee and donuts or nothing.
I may have
No.
donuts.
Sometimes if Walmart brings me donuts, it works a little bit faster.
I'll pull that card.
If we need it.
Any other questions, Pat, right now?
What is project schedule on your updates in your month? Could you provide like the most recent schedule?
Yes. Do you want me to put it in the slideshow,
I
or?
think that would be great.
Yeah, I can do that.
Unless anybody else thinks
Do like a month forecast.
Yeah. No, it could be.
don't wanna push something far off, but it is where we're at.
Are you referring to the summer projects?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is our Fund 4 transfer.
Yeah, I asked Kat to come kinda, cause we have some new board members, to just kinda explain what that is and see if there's any questions.
In your board packet is a brief overview of the Fund 4 7% transfer. At the end of each fiscal year, school districts have the option to transfer either $162,326 or up to the 7% formula. The formula is 7% times the state adequacy target, which is SAT, times the district's weighted average daily attendance, the weighted ADA. The district has a choice to choose either amount or amount less than the top amount allowed. As we close out the fiscal year, we wanted to present the possibility of a fund transfer, but there is no immediate request for a transfer at this time. If the board wants to make this transfer, we will present an official request in the June board meeting.
Is there any questions for Kat? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is our summer school transportation.
Dr. Fay.
We will, again this year, provide transportation for summer school. You've been provided the schedule that will go out to families. This is subject to change. So this is exactly the stops that we used last year and the times. And there's this totally separate spreadsheet that Mr. Armstrong has with every single student's address and what bus they'll ride, and what stop they should get on at. So if there's a large group of students somewhere not close to a stop and we need to make some changes, we'll do that to accommodate those. But this is what will go out to families during the next couple of days to get them going. So,
How many kids do we normally have riding the buses? You know how many?
not very many. Not many in the summertime. I don't know.
It's all right.
Does the bus company feel like they can supply at least this many drivers?
We can get 5, yep.
For sure.
We cannot get 20, but we can get 5.
I know it's been.
They have said they've
big
got
issue.
drivers secured for summer, yes.
It doesn't look like ride lengths are any kind of big deal in the summer.
No.
Just looking at the pickup times and assuming they had 20 minutes to get back to the school from there.
So are we picking up and dropping off at the student's physical address or at these intersections?
So at these locations for
Okay.
summer, yep. It's different in that way from the regular school
Okay.
year. Yeah, just limited.
I think, Kelsey, I think we're all during our first year of doing this.
Yeah, last year was the first year we provided
We've
buses for
never-
summer at all.
Yeah, we've never supplied buses for some school, but there was a lot of kids that wanted to participate but couldn't make it because they didn't have transportation or families, so. Okay, any other questions at this point? Okay, thank you. Next up is our 24 budget. Preliminary budget, excuse me. Come on down.
All right, this is the preliminary FY '24 budget that's included in your board packet. It's a quick overview and a detailed line item of both revenues and expenditures for the preliminary budget. This includes estimated revenues to date, but there are still some unknowns. We are currently still waiting on the governor to sign the state budget. The preliminary budget includes projected revenues and expenditures for Career Ladder. We are anticipating our final drawdown of R-VII funds next year as well. At this point, we are projecting a balanced budget. The final FY '24 budget will be presented for approval at the regular June board meeting.
Go ahead.
How much pending legislation is there that could dramatically impact our preliminary budget from the fund?
We put a lot of it in there because I think it's gonna go through
Okay.
successfully with what they've
Okay.
approved for education funding.
Any other questions for Kat right now? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now up to action items. Our 2023, 2024 fuel bids.
So we solicited bids again this year. They were opened April 21st. We had a single bid again this year, but from MFA Oil. They provided our service since the 14-15 school year. 3 options were given. We believe the best option is the 1-year fixed price bid shown there at $3.410045. We would pay that price for the entire school year per gallon to MFA. So that's the recommendation.
I saw in here, so you all did send it out specifically to other companies and they didn't reply.
Correct.
Okay.
It's advertised on our
Yeah.
website and the Odessa and sent specifically to people who have expressed interest in the past.
So, you know, if other local districts tend to get more than one.
It's kind of interesting, because at the county, we get both Ray Carroll and MFA. Ray Carroll for us is more competitive, but because we run a lot of gasoline, not a lot of diesel. Typically, when it's primarily all diesel, Ray Carroll will make us that.
They had bid before, but it's been a few years. Can't remember the last time.
5 years.
Yeah.
So MFA supplies the tanks. We don't own the tanks, and Ray Carroll's not interested in supplying the tanks. So that was my first or second year, and they finally just told me to stop sending it to them if they had to supply the tanks. They were interested in supplying the tanks.
So we have to purchase
So
the tanks.
we would then we would have to purchase them and have all the
Maintenance and everything.
maintenance, the legalities of having the tanks and
Gotcha.
all that.
Okay, we have a recommendation of MFA World Company. At this point, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed fuel bid. I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, next up is our classified substitute rates.
We are proposing an increase to substitute rates for paraprofessionals, secretaries, custodians, and nurses' aides effective with the 23-24 fiscal year. The increase raises the current rate to the base salary rate for those respective positions. And those are included in your packet. They're detailed in your packet for your review.
Make a motion to approve these rates as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Only thing I want to say is hopefully that we can even raise these more down the road. We're asking people to come and work alongside and with our kids for $13 an hour. And I'm not saying anything bad about $13 an hour, but it's hard to live on that. So, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you. Next, we have a change order from Excel. And it's a good change order.
It is, Dr. Fagin.
Yes, so this change order, there was discussion about the space at Macquarie. So the change order that will allow for one more office space. We will leave the nurse where the nurse's office is currently. So it keeps that office more centralized as opposed to moving them into a new space. As well as creating that additional classroom where the nurse was going to be. So this change, all said and done, will be a deduct to our price of $19,638.
First.
Yeah.
This was from input from.
Yeah, whose idea was this?
So the nurse at Macquarie, as well as Mr. Armstrong, just talking about where she is currently is so easily accessible, and where she would have been in a new location would have been, in a door and around the corner, and just harder for the little guys to find, basically. So
I
good
think it's-
ideas.
I think it's good that she feels like she can give feedback like that and say, hey, everyone should be able to give feedback like that on all these things, so that's awesome. And then we listen to her and then it makes sense, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's outstanding. Listen to parts.
It is good. Well, at this point, I have a recommendation. Can I have a motion, please, for the change order?
Motion to approve the change order.
Could I have a second? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, at this point, that concludes our open session, so I need a motion to conduct a closed executive session, including any record or vote at the next scheduled meeting pursuant to statutes contained in chapter 610.021. Motion, please. Can I have a second? Roll call.
Aye.